Nearly 80% of Americans now say that fast food is a luxury because it has become so expensive. And as a result, they're eating it less often.
So Americans just aren't spending money like we used to. And this is actually hurting millions of people, but also certain industries.
79% of Americans now say fast food is a luxury. Think about that for a second. Not concert tickets, not designer bags, fast food. Let's say you walk into McDonald's and order a simple Big Mac combo fries and a drink. The bill, around $13.59 for one person. Add a friend and you're hovering just under $30 and you haven't even tipped or added tax yet. And forget dessert. The same places that once promised affordable meals for everyone are now turning into overpriced pit stops for people who just wanted a quick bite between shifts. But the real shock isn't just in the price, it's in what's happening next. Customers are walking away. Not complaining, not protesting, just leaving. In Q1 of 2025, McDonald's reported a 36% drop in same-store U.S. sales, its worst quarterly performance in America since the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic. This isn't about expansion or closings. Same-store sales means existing customers are showing up less and spending less when they do. Wendy's dropped almost 3%, Domino's is seeing consistent declines, and even Chipotle, usually more resilient, reported its first sales slip since 2020. These brands are scrambling $5 meal deals, app-only promos, drone delivery. It's as if they're trying to duct tape a sinking ship and wondering why it's still taking on water. Since 2019, the average price of fast food in the US has risen by over 30%, but that's just the polite version of the story. Dig a little deeper and you'll find some truly absurd examples. In certain cities like Los Angeles or New York, a basic Big Mac meal, once a go-to for the budget-conscious, is now pushing $14 to $15 a number. That would have sounded like a joke 5 years ago. At some Chick-fil-A locations, a chicken sandwich combo now rivals the price of a steak lunch at a diner. Let's be clear, this isn't just inflation. While general inflation has certainly played a role, there are specific economic decisions that pushed fast food prices through the roof. One major culprit, Trump-era tariffs, introduced during his trade war with China and other countries starting in 2018, these tariffs dramatically increased costs on imported goods, things like aluminum for packaging, cooking oils, beef and poultry feed, and industrial kitchen equipment. Even paper products like napkins and takeout bags became more expensive because of disrupted supply chains and retaliatory import taxes. Fast food companies initially absorbed some of those costs, but after the COVID-19 pandemic and the ensuing wage hikes in the service sector, that buffer disappeared. Suddenly, fast food wasn't just trying to remain profitable, it was scrambling to recover margin any way it could. Enter the value menu that isn't really valuable, the smaller portions for the same price, and the invisible service fees hidden behind convenient delivery apps. So what happens when the price goes up, but the value doesn't? Consumers leave. But here's the twist. It's not just that they're angry or disappointed, it's that they feel betrayed. For decades, fast food marketed itself as the last line of defense against hunger in hard times. And now it's pricing out the very people it promised to serve. It's not just a pricing issue, it's a psychological break. When fast food goes from being cheap and easy to expensive and disappointing, even the most loyal customers begin to question their habits. Wendy's, in a rare moment of transparency, admitted during their latest earnings call that households making less than $75,000 a year, which represents over 60% of the US population, were the key drivers behind their revenue drop. And not because they switched to other chains, but because they stopped coming altogether. McDonald's CEO echoed a similar sentiment, noting that traffic from both low-income and middle-income customers has fallen sharply. That's a red flag, not just for the restaurant, but for the economy at large. Fast food has always been a canary in the economic coal mine, when low-income and working-class families can't afford a $7 burger. A combo something deeper is wrong. What's even more telling is what customers are doing instead. They're not upgrading. They're not replacing fast food with casual dining or meal subscriptions. They're doing what many economists didn't expect in a consumer-driven society. They're stepping out of the consumption cycle altogether. People are cooking more at home. They're meal prepping. They're skipping impulse food purchases and actually buying less food overall. And no, this isn't a wellness revolution. It's not about clean eating or keto or intermittent fasting. It's economic triage. People aren't dieting, they're budgeting hunger. So when McDonald's tries to woo them back with a $5 appy-only deal that requires 4 clicks, 2 location permissions, and a 15-minute wait for cold fries, these customers aren't angry, they're gone. Let's talk about the modern fast food experience because it's become a masterclass in how not to do digital transformation. In theory, these apps were supposed to streamline everything. Order ahead, skip the line, get special offers. Reality, they've done the opposite. The average McDonald's app experience now feels like trying to book concert tickets on Ticketmaster, glitchy, slow, and kind of insulting. You open the app, you're asked to sign in. If you're lucky, you're still logged in from last time. If not, welcome back to password reset hell. Then you choose your items, only to find out the coupon you wanted only works for in-store pickup, not delivery or drive-through. And even if you order ahead, your food isn't made until you're physically near the store, thanks to McDonald's GPS tracking system, which delays your order until you're within about a mile. It's like playing a location-based mobile game, but the reward is soggy fries. Add to that the inconsistent wait times, missing items, cold food, and lackluster customer service, and it's no wonder people are bailing. One Reddit user joked, "The only thing fast about fast food these days is how fast I regret ordering it." On top of it all, fast food companies are treating these apps as a loyalty funnel, burying all their deals behind them. But requiring customers to jump through tech hoops to save $1 isn't innovation. It's a tax on people who can't afford to pay full price. This digital-first strategy might work for tech-savvy brands like Starbucks, where customers are more affluent and more willing to deal with friction for customization. But when your core demographic is working-class families, truck drivers, college students, and minimum-wage workers, forcing them into a bloated app just to get a fair price is a branding disaster in the making. Historically, when tough times hit, Americans didn't stop spending, they traded down. Couldn't afford Olive Garden. You went to Applebee's. Applebee's too pricey. Hit up Taco Bell. And if even that was too much, there was always the dollar menu. But in 2025, something different is happening. People aren't trading down anymore. They're opting out entirely. Let's talk numbers. According to the Food Marketing Institute, grocery store spending on raw ingredients, meal kits, and basic staples has increased 12% year over year, while fast food traffic has declined for 3 consecutive quarters. That's not substitution. That's abandonment. And it's not because people suddenly discovered a passion for cooking. It's because eating out, especially fast food, is now being seen as an unnecessary luxury, a treat on a default. Think about that. Fast food has become a treat. Parents are meal prepping sandwiches and pasta instead of stopping by. Wendy's office workers are bulk ordering frozen burritos rather than grabbing Chipotle. Even college students. America's most reckless culinary adventurers are cutting back on late-night drive-through runs because, shocker, they can't afford the $18 DoorDash total for a 3-item Taco Bell order. And here's the kicker. This isn't about health or ethics or quality. It's not that people have suddenly grown tired of burgers and fries. It's that they're looking at the price tag and saying, nope, not worth it. This is where fast food's biggest vulnerability is exposed, not in taste, not in tech, but in value perception. If people no longer believe they're getting their money's worth, no combo deal in the world can save you. Fast food in America was never just about calories per dollar. It was a social contract. It said, no matter who you are, how much you make, or where you live, you can afford a hot meal quickly and easily. It was democracy in a paper wrapper. One of the few places where the line between rich and poor, young and old CEO and janitor blurred. But that contract, it's breaking. Quietly, systematically, and not with protest or fanfare, but with indifference. People are simply leaving, because when fast food stops being fast, stops being affordable, and stops being convenient, it stops being fast food at all. We're now watching the slow-motion erosion of one of the most iconic pillars of 20th century American life. And what's replacing it? Nothing. That's the scary part. This isn't a transfer of power to a new food culture. It's a void, and it speaks to something deeper. A society where even the most basic shared experiences like grabbing a burger for lunch are becoming stratified, segmented, and ultimately inaccessible. Fast food's decline isn't just an economic problem for a few multinational chains. It's a warning sign, a red flare sent up by the working class that something in the system is fundamentally broken. This is the industry's crossroads. Either return to basics, low prices, quick service, consistent value, or continue drifting into irrelevance. The current model price hikes, plus cost-cutting, plus digital gimmicks is not just failing, it's driving customers away. Fast food once thrived because it was simple, fast, and cheap. Today, it's bloated, slow, overpriced, and wrapped in an app. That's not evolution, that's self-destruction. When was the last time you went to McDonald's or Taco Bell? Were you shocked by the price? Was the food even good? Let us know in the comments.